Reductionism is one of the philosophical diseases of the modern world. We tend to reduce things to one component of a huge system, thinking that it will help us control it. Not explain it scientifically, it's a function of control. Because if you keep it simple, then you can control it, you can manipulate it. That's been the driving force behind many of the reductionist scientific ideas, unfortunately, in the modern world, because, modern capitalism is driven by the idea of control. Right. If I can control you, I can define you, then I can sell you more products. Right. That's the bottom line. I mean, it sounds very gross, but believe me, at the end of the day, that's the logic behind it. Because, all these statistical studies and psychological studies on social media, behavioral patterns, and all these trends and all these things, they are studied in order to figure out what you like, and also the ways in which I can influence your taste, your preference, so that at the end of the day, I can sell you more products, right? I want to sell you more. Unfortunately, that's modern capitalism. And so control becomes a function of capitalism. And science, knowledge, investigation, all this becomes a function of finding different ways of controlling you and the customer. And in fact, suddenly human beings become customers. We are no longer human beings carrying the light of the divine within our souls, but we are just customers, right? We are either customers or potential customers. Only two kinds of people exist out there for capitalism. Now, the control issue is related to simplicity. If I can keep it simple, that is, reduce all this complexity to one or two components, then I can control, by pushing one button, and that's it. I mean, remember what happened in Truman Show, right? The way, his life was set up, that, he was controlled in so many different ways, his life, and he didn't know that he was set up. He was part of the setup, that he was living a life of a lie, a life of a constructed being, constructed only for the sake of TV, so that they can sell products. And, there will be a moment when, they will show a product. His wife comes to him and says, I want to cook you this macaroni today, but it's actually a commercial. Yeah. It is so inhuman. Now, this was Truman Show, shot, I think, some 30 years ago. Today, strangely enough, everybody wants to be part of the Truman Show with social media. I want to share everything, every picture. I want to put it out there. I want people to like it. And I want to live another life on social media, on virtual reality, etc. I mean, it's terrifying when you think about it. What happened to your privacy? What happened to your own self? What happened to your own identity? I mean, you're just redesigning yourself every single day according to the most current fashion and trend and all that stuff. You're no longer yourself. But modern capitalism actually provides the means to make it happen so that I can control. The point is, reality is much more complex than to be reduced to one of its components. As our Muslim philosophers and many others like Heidegger in the Western tradition have said, existence, al-wujud in the philosophical sense of the term, is more than the total sum and collection of individual existence. That is, I am more than a collection of my organs. I'm more than my hands, my feet, my eyes. Yes, they're part of me. They are me. But when they come together, I am more than my organs, right? So you cannot reduce me to my hand or eye or ear. Yes. Right? I am a whole when each is distributed equally. So if that's the reality, that's the nature of reality, then I have to understand the reality at different levels. At the material level, yes, there are tools that I have to understand the physical things. Yes, I move thing. I have this glass here. So, I mean, that's how I respond to it. At the level of ideas, then I use my mind, and that's how I respond to that reality. At the level of imagination, the world of imagination, alam al-khayal, for example. This is, in fact, an experience of alam al-khayal, in a sense. I mean, you are there, you are on a screen, I am on a screen. We are real, but not real. We are kind of traveling between different levels of reality. So I respond to it through my imagination. Poetry, music, religion, metaphysics, a novel, all these things respond to a particular aspect of reality. If I reduce all this complexity to one single element, I miss out on this incredibly rich nature of reality. I think this is one of the things that we are forgetting in this modern world. And we are forgetting the fact that simplicity is not reductionism. You can be very simple with incredible complexity behind it, because as they say, simplicity is the ultimate complexity. You want to do it in a simple way without reducing it to a single component or element. It's like, for example, your music, right? I mean, you sing something, you carry a feeling, a sentiment, an idea, in that song, and it's a little journey. You're inviting us to join you there, and sometimes musicians also feel this, like the best moment you reach is the simplest moment in a musical tune. It's not this very complex, type of thing, but rather, very simple sound, which actually, in my view, is a reflection of the celestial sounds. We just bring them down here, or they kind of let themselves to come down here. Wow. We connect with the eternal sound, and that's how I, when I hear great musicians, great composers, I feel like they just went up to the heaven, brought this down, and wrote it on a piece of paper and played it. It sounds so uplifting, so spiritual, so deep. So this cannot be reduced to simply some physical, chemical actions or reactions in my brain. It will be insulting to human dignity to claim that this is all about these chemical things happening, in my mind. Why are they happening in this way and not in another way, right?